Okay, so today I'm talking about makeup I refuse to buy in 2025. I have the chance to kind of look back and reflect on my purchases every year. As I film those end of the year wrap up videos, I'm always looking back on everything I bought and kind of seeing which products were worth it, which ones weren't, which trends I had fun partaking in, and which formulas just aren't for me at this point in my life. And it got me thinking about makeup that I just don't need to buy as we head into 2025. I either always regret it, I have an overabundance of these categories, or I just flat out refuse for a few different reasons. So I thought I would share this video with you and kind of chat through my thought process, and maybe it will inspire you to look at your own collection, your own buying habits, and maybe cut some products out of your life or off your list for 2025 as well. Number one is overpriced makeup. I'm talking $42 eyeshadow duos, $70 foundations, $40 lip oils. I flat out refuse to do it in 2024. Now, if you've been around my channel, you know that I am a drugstore fan. I love affordable makeup. And I think the issue for me is that so many drugstore and affordable formulas these days are just as good, honestly, if not better than high-end alternatives. So it's kind of hard to justify spending 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times the amount of money on a product when you can get the same quality or better at the drugstore a lot of the time. The other issue is, while drugstore makeup prices have definitely gone up, so have high-end prices and luxury prices as well. Obviously, when it comes to high-end and luxury, you're paying for maybe some different things. Maybe you really love the name or you love the color story, the formula really appeals to you, or in some instances, the ingredients are ingredients you really like. And don't get me wrong, there is nothing wrong with buying high-end or luxury makeup. We are all adults here. We can all decide how we want to spend our money. And what's important to some people might not be important to others, but it doesn't mean that it's an absolute waste or that you should be shamed for buying what you want to buy. I just know for me personally, when I end up buying something that's really overpriced, at least in my mind, I end up regretting it, even if I do enjoy using it. And sometimes because of my job, like I film YouTube videos, I film reviews, I'm like, oh, I need to buy that for my channel so I can review it. But the truth is, I mainly focus on drugstore and affordable makeup. So that's what people are typically coming to my channel for. And even though I love reviewing products from Sephora as well, when it comes to something really expensive, like a $70 foundation, people aren't typically looking for that type of review on my channel. And I know that. There are so many other channels that will end up reviewing it that I feel like it's okay to sit out some launches. And the truth is, like, even if I love a $70 foundation, even if I think it looks amazing, it wears perfectly well throughout the day, am I really going to end up recommending that throughout the year? When my favorite foundation is $10, it's just not likely. Same case with like a 30 or 40, or I even saw like a $55 mascara on Sephora's website. I myself am probably not going to ever repurchase that when there are options that are $5 that I think perform extremely well. So it's just something to kind of know and recognize about yourself. Maybe the opposite is true for you. You're not typically a drugstore fan. You can't get into the packaging, you don't love the formulas, the brands aren't your favorite. So maybe in 2025, you resolve to stop looking for less expensive alternatives and wasting your money on products that don't work for you, and just saving your money and spending it on the one product you know you really want from Sephora. It really can go either way. I think you just have to know what you prefer. And in the end, if you go with what you prefer, more expensive options or less expensive options, you won't end up wasting your money as much because you'll get what you truly want. 2025 is the year that we stop buying makeup formulas that we just don't like, that don't align with our beauty preferences. This could be anything, but for me, it's liquid bronzers. In 2024, I realized I just don't really enjoy liquid bronzers. They don't look great on my skin. I don't love the way they apply, and I don't typically enjoy them with other products I use on top or underneath. Sometimes I try to convince myself if I try the right brand, the right formula, the right application method, I will love it as much as everyone else. But the truth is, that's just not always going to be the case. Maybe for you, you are not a full coverage fan. You have tried every formula, every brand, matte finishes, glowy finishes, it doesn't matter. And you just don't like the way it looks, the way it feels. So maybe you stop trying full coverage foundations and you just stick with skin tints or tinted moisturizers or a little bit of concealer. Maybe you are just not into lip oils. This is something I see in the comments of my videos a lot. People are like, they just don't feel good on my lips. They dry my lips out. I don't love them. This is the year you stop buying lip oils. No matter how many brands brands launch lip oils. Stick with formulas you already have, lip balms, lip glosses, and just avoid them. Even if they are tempting, just know in the back of your mind, you probably won't end up loving the way it feels or looks on you. Again, this is not a revolutionary concept, but I don't know why it didn't really click in my mind until 2024 when I tried a couple of different liquid bronzer formulas and realized I just like creams better. And I think it's something important to think about when it comes to your personal collection because in the end, you'll end up saving so much money and wasting less product if you aren't bringing in new products you know don't really work for you and your preferences. Number three is probably the most practical, the one that everyone could kind of go for, and that is to stop buying products you own too much of. Now, when it comes down to it, if we're honest with ourselves, most of us could probably go on a year-long no-buy or a multiple year-long no-buy where we don't add any new makeup to our collection and be completely satisfied with what we have. In fact, I've heard from a lot of you that are not planning on buying a new makeup in 2025, or you're only planning on buying something new when you use something up. Like if you finish up a concealer, then you can buy a new concealer. And I think those are amazing goals either way. But if you love makeup and you enjoy trying new makeup, there's nothing wrong with that. But maybe a goal for you could be to take a look at your collection and see which category you own an overabundance of. So for me, that's a couple of categories, honestly. But something that I really just overbought this past year were lip oils. Every brand was launching a lip oil, probably lip oils and lip balms. And I just really enjoy the formulas. I love seeing what's out there. And there have been a ton of great launches. But as I was doing my latest lip product declutter, I realized that I just had way too much. And the truth is, when it comes to a lot of products, but especially lip oils and lip balms, like, do they actually feel that different on the lips? Are the benefits that different? Are the colors that different? Truthfully, they're not, to be honest with you. So that is a category that I do not need to buy in 2025. The other thing is a lot of makeup takes forever to use up. Not all products. I tend to go through certain products faster than others, but when it comes to lip products, I can use a lip product every single day for months and still not use it up fully. And the sad truth is makeup does expire. So when we are, adding a lot of new products to our collection, the products in our current collection are just kind of sitting there going to waste. So I think there's just always a good balance to be had. You don't necessarily have to stop buying all new makeup if you don't want to, but maybe pick certain categories of your collection where you know you have an overabundance and skip over those as we head into 2025. The next category that might be worth thinking about when it comes to makeup that you should refuse to buy in 2025 would be categories where you already have a holy grail favorite. For me, this is concealer. I have three favorites that I love, and as I've tried new concealer launches over the past year, every single product I've tried just hasn't measured up to my top three favorites. Now, maybe you don't have three favorites and you have one favorite, but when it comes down to it and you try new products in that category, are you consistently being let down just a little bit because it doesn't live up to your number one holy grail favorite? If that's the case, maybe you should refuse to buy products in that category as we head into the new year. I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm constantly looking for the next best product. And obviously, a lot of that comes with my job. I'm looking to review and test out the best products so I can share recommendations with you. But at this point, there are so many good makeup products out there. And it's not like a lot of formulas are just lackluster, they're mediocre, they're not great. Like, there are a lot of top tier formulas. Like I said, I have three favorite concealers: the Catrice concealer, the Tower 28 one, and the Natasha Denona one. So every time I try to concealer in 2024, I was like, it's not as good as one of my top three favorites. Every single new makeup launch claims to be the most innovative, beautiful, smoothing, perfecting formula, and the descriptions sound so good. Obviously, brands have teams dedicated to writing these descriptions that are going to pull us in. These marketing teams want us to obviously buy the new makeup, and maybe the new concealer will be the best thing ever. But if you already have a formula you love that you know is a reliable favorite that you purchase over and over, maybe it's just worth sticking with that one for 2025 instead of buying a bunch of new formulas that won't necessarily live up to the one that you already enjoy and love and use every single day. So just something to consider. There are so many categories of makeup. So maybe for you, it's like your favorite palette that you use every single day, your go-to mascara that you know doesn't flake or smudge. So as we head into 2025, I'm pushing pause on concealer launches. I really don't need to purchase a new one. It's also probably the same case with setting sprays. I wouldn't say I have like an overabundance of setting sprays, but every time I try a new one, I'm like, it's good, it works well. Why do I need to keep trying a ton of new ones? The ones I have work extremely well. They do a great job. So why am I spending my money on more and more and more when I feel like I have a good selection to choose from? Okay, this is one that I'm actually pretty good at, but it's always good to kind of resolve to stick with it heading into the new year. I refuse to buy makeup sets that come with a shade or a product that I know I won't wear or I won't like. And this is something that I feel like comes up a little bit more during the holiday season. So I know I've talked about this over the last few months, but sometimes when brands launch value sets or makeup sets or vault collections at Sephora or Ulta, they are actually an amazing deal when you break it down and compare it to how much you pay for a full size product of the same thing from the brand. But if there is a shade in there that doesn't work for you, if there are multiple shades in there that you just won't wear, then it really isn't a great deal. And you end up wasting money because the products aren't things that actually add value to your collection. Sometimes I feel like we want to justify it and we're like, well, maybe I'll want to wear that when I'm trying to do something that's out of my comfort zone, or I'll pass that product along to someone else, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But if you're buying that set hoping to get an amazing deal and you don't end up using the product, you're not even saving any money. And you might be better off just buying the one full size product that you really truly want. I almost fell for this. I didn't, but like I almost did during the Sephora holiday savings event because there was a set from Merit. I can't remember the exact breakdown, but it came with three full sized Merit lipsticks and it was a good deal. It was maybe like three for the price of like one and a half. The 20% off at Sephora, you saved even more. So I was like, should I just get that set? Because I was planning on buying one full size Merit lipstick. And I was like, I'll wear them occasionally. But I knew in the back of my mind there was a lipstick in there that I wouldn't wear. I might wear it like once during the holiday season, but then otherwise it would go to waste in my collection. And in the end, I just decided to buy the one full size lipstick because I got 20% off on that lipstick as well. So I was able to save on that, and I ended up saving by not buying the set and enjoying maybe two of the shades, but then having the third one go to waste. And not only does that save me money, it just creates less waste because then I don't have to declutter that lipstick in a few years after it just sat in my makeup collection going unused. So just something to keep in mind, especially because a lot of the holiday gift sets are going to be on sale over the next few weeks. And sometimes it's tempting to pick them up knowing that they're even more discounted than they were when they originally launched. But just because something's on sale doesn't mean it's a good deal. If you aren't going to use the products regularly, you're not saving money because you weren't going to buy them in the first place. So just something to keep in mind, something that I need to tell myself. So I thought I would tell you too. Okay, this is one that I absolutely need to stick to. So please hold me accountable on this one, but I refuse to buy full size fragrances and maybe even like travel size fragrances, with the exception of like a fragrance subscription service where you get the chance to actually test them out before committing to the full size version. But that aside, without smelling them in person, with the explosion and just like the rise of popularity of perfume and fragrance as a whole, I feel like I'm tempted more than ever to just buy a fragrance before smelling it because there are so many videos on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram where people are sharing recommendations and talking about fragrances. And the way they're described and the way that people rave about them pulls me in so fast. But fragrance is so personal. And maybe you don't feel like this because maybe you're not picky or you like to have a ton of different options. I'm not someone who likes to have like a million different fragrances. I like to have either a signature scent or like a scent each season rather than having a ton to choose from and like picking a new one every single day. So I feel like I tend to think a little bit longer about which fragrance I want to buy. But sometimes when people are describing it or there's a lot of hype, I'm like, I know I'll love that. I buy it and I don't like it. I don't like the way it smells on me. I don't like the way it dries down or it doesn't last very long. I do love Kayali fragrances so much, but I think I fell for the hype with Vanilla Candy Rock Sugar. I'm pretty sure I bought that on launch day, so I didn't get the chance to obviously smell it in person, and I like the way it smells initially, but once it dries down, at least on me, it smells so similar to Vanilla 28, which I already own, that I feel like I probably could have skipped over that one. I also fell for the hype with Kayali's Wedding Silk Santal. I don't know that that was even on my radar until they brought it back. And I think they had like put up this video and like all these comments were like, bring it back. We miss it. We love it. And then I saw like a video about it on YouTube. I saw a post about it on Instagram and I was like, wow, if this is that loved, I need to try it. And this is so ridiculous because I film beauty videos. I know what brands do to pull people in. Like I definitely understand the marketing behind products. And I do consider myself to be a smart consumer, but I fall for for the hype sometimes too. And honestly, I mean, it smells good, but it smells again just like Vanilla 28. I feel like both of those dry down and smell very similar on my skin. I will say that I did buy the latest one. What is it called? It's the marshmallow one, and I do really love that one. So I had better luck with that. But like, what am I doing? Why am I buying all of these fragrances before smelling them in person? My issue is I don't have a Sephora store near me, and we have a Sephora inside Kohl's, and they do carry a lot of fragrances, but they don't have all of them. So I feel like I don't get the chance to test fragrance out in person all the time. But even if something smells really good initially or smells like the scent description, it doesn't always dry down the same way. So for me, it is important to test fragrances and wear them for like a day before committing to a full-size bottle, which with all three of those, I did buy the travel size, so it's not like I bought like an entire bottle and didn't love it. But even still, I've just decided I cannot buy fragrances before smelling them, before testing them out. That's why something like a fragrance subscription service is always great because you get the chance to really test them before committing to a full-size bottle. But I don't know, what do you do? Are you someone who buys them online just based on the description, based on what they sound like? And are you usually happy with them, or do you like to actually like try them out and wear them first? Okay, the last category that I want to talk about are products that aren't practical. Now, when it comes down to it, I mean, again, this is going to be very, very personal. And what's considered an impractical product to one person definitely won't be for someone else. Maybe you consider blue eyeshadow to be impractical. You won't ever wear it. You just don't need it. And for someone else, that is their favorite color of eyeshadow to wear. Maybe for that person, false lashes are completely impractical because they take too long to apply and they're uncomfortable. And for other people, they have it down to a science and they can get them on in minutes and they're good to go. And it's like a daily staple. So definitely, don't take what I say as an impractical product to you if it's something you love. But for me, I've come to realize that super pigmented glossy lip products they're pretty impractical for me these days. Don't get me wrong, I love a good glossy red lip or like a super deep glossy berry is so pretty. And sometimes when I'm filming videos, I'll wear them or like on a very special occasion. But I just feel like every time I wear one, like throughout the day, it gets everywhere. It gets on my face, it gets on my clothes, it gets on my kids. I have a toddler, I have an almost 1-year-old. They don't understand personal space. I'm kissing them all the time and they just don't want red lipstick all over them and their clothes too. So I typically don't reach for super pigmented glossy lip products because they don't stay in place well and it will end up everywhere, like literally places that I can't really comprehend how it got there. And when it comes down to it, if I really want to wear a glossy red lip, I can throw on a matte red lipstick and a gloss on top, and I have that. The product this year that almost got me was the Fenty Gloss Bomb. Was it just called like the gloss stick? I think that's what it was. I really wanted to try that product because the description sounded so nice. And then I was thinking through it practically and I'm like, that is just not a practical product for me personally. I'm not going to end up reaching for it very much. I'm not going to wear it enough to justify adding it to my collection. And again, if I want to create something like that, I can use two products I already own and combine them and I'm good to go, which is also something to keep in mind. I mean, that can be said for a lot of different things. Maybe you want a glowy liquid blush and you have a matte liquid blush and a glowy liquid highlighter. Mix them together and create something with those two products you already own instead of buying something new. That could be said for so many things. I feel like there are a lot of people who are super creative and they just kind of mix and match products until they get what they're looking for. And we can actually use our makeup collections in a lot of different ways that we don't typically think of. So just again, maybe an idea as we head into 2025. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. It was kind of a fun topic to talk about. And again, as someone who films YouTube videos, I feel like these aren't always things that I'm thinking through in my mind, but just because I buy makeup and review it on my channel doesn't mean that I can't make like some adjustments to my personal collection as I'm adding products and trying them throughout the year. So I hope it gave you something to think about as well. I would love to hear from you in the comments if there are any makeup products or categories that you just flat out refuse to buy in 2025. Let us know, and I will see you very soon with a new video. Bye.